This is Margaret Prescott on the ground in Port-au-Prince on the campus of UNIFA, the University of the Aristide Foundation, and delighted that I am joined now by Mildred Aristide, who is a member of the Board of Governors of UNIFA. Mildred Aristide, delighted to be able to be here on today, graduation day.
Thank you, Margaret. So happy that you were able to be here with us.
Yes, so tell our audience just a little of the background, because what happened here today with 153 medical school students graduating from the medical school. Also, how many?
And we have 34 nurses, 19 lawyers, and 8 physical therapists. And for the physical therapy, School of Physical Therapy, this is our first graduating class.
The reason I'm asking about that is that this place was closed after the U.S. backed 2004 coup, and indeed, U.S. Marines were based here. So there was no medical school. What happened to the students who were here at the time?
Okay. Well, the UNIFA officially opened in 2002. And we broke ground on the campus, this space, in 2003. We had at the time 2 classes of approximately 254 students. And as you said, when the coup happened in February 2004, we had about 250 students who were here on the campus. The International Military Force came and took the grounds. The students were expelled. These students were able to make their way to the foundation and ultimately were able to continue their education in Cuba, because at the time we had a cooperation with the Cuban government where Cuba was sending professors to UNIFA and to other schools here in Haiti, and so their training did continue in Cuba, and I think about 98% of them ultimately did graduate. And we have had some of those first graduates come and teach and do conferences here at UNIFA.
Right. So then how long were your family, with President Aristide, in exile?
So the coup happened in February, at the end of February 2004. We were immediately taken out of the country, taken to Central Africa, where we spent 3 weeks in Central Africa. Mm-hmm. From there, we were in Jamaica for 3 months, where our children were bought. We were able to be reunited with the kids in Jamaica. And then in May of 2004, we were in South Africa, and we spent from May 2004 to March 2011 in South Africa, so 7 years.
And I remember actually the day you returned from South Africa. I was fortunate enough to be part of the welcoming committee, Danny Glover and others who were there. And just one moment I want to remember about that, because we were standing on the grounds of your residence with some doctors, and there weren't that many of us there. And in about less than 3 minutes, I would say, we were totally surrounded by throngs of people. Clearly, so many of them the base of President Aristide, so delighted. We could not move. It was like, I understand why Lavalas means, I think, flood, does it? Because that's what happened. It was just an amazing moment. And just one other story I want to share with our audience is that we were surrounded, and we were a little tired and thirsty and hungry. And I remember you saying to us, there are so many people out there who have nothing to eat and drink right now. So we had planned to entertain you and serve you, but we just cannot. And if you're really thirsty, you can go off in a little room, because people were literally looking into the residence. And that has always stayed with me, because I cannot think of a first lady of a nation that would say something like that. And it just said something about what your values of you and your husband and your relationship with the people. Do you remember that?
I do. And it was, that time was an incredible experience for all of us, for the family and for all of us, because and we learned this after, that when we were arriving, the government that was in office at the time did not want the news of the time of our arrival to be told. And so people couldn't prepare for it. It's only when the plane was literally like circling above Port-au-Prince that it became known, and that it took us, the airport is a 10-minute drive from the house. It took us over an hour because the crowd was, we were walking with the crowd. So, I mean, and that group of physicians that were with us at the house, those were some of the graduates, the 254 graduates who made their way to Cuba, who were back in Haiti.
Yeah.
So it's coming full circle, and the circle is enlarging.
So 2011, this is now 2019, I almost said 2018. Mm-hmm. So when you all returned, tell us, UNIFA reopened. So it was from 2011 until 2019 that you now have today 153 graduates just from the medical school alone.
That's right. When we came back in March of 2011, and Tzitzit said, okay, we're planning to open in September. And I surely thought he meant September 2012. But no, because every year there are people graduating from high school with nowhere to go. So there were some Cuban professors here and there willing to return and to teach. We started that first class with 126 students, 53 men, 3 women, even Steven. And we started with that. And every year since September 11, we've added another faculty, and we've expanded the numbers so that we are now at, as the president said, we are at 2,100 or so students all told in the different faculties. We have medicine, nursing, law, engineering, architecture, the School of Physical Therapy, and we're in front of it here, School of Administration, and what am I saying? Medicine, nursing, physical therapy. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it's been a long
day.
But all told, it's 7. I can tell you that. All told,
7. But also today, I heard a call from
dentistry.
The platform, dentistry, for an additional school.
Yes, no, they've been really on our case because we are
in agriculture, is that right?
Because this is Tabor. Tabor are the plains, which are historically an agricultural zone of the country. And so we have to have, and we are working on that. Trust me, we are working on that. And so whether it'll be this October or the following, but it will happen. So it's in the works.
Right. So for people who will see this in the United States, including people who are connected with universities in the United States, whether it's medical school, law schools, or other faculties, what do you think are some of the things that can be done from the United States to support the efforts of UNIFA? It's just been a beautiful, moving ceremony today.
Well, one of the things that we've been doing since we started is a visiting professors program. So we've had folks from the United States, from Canada, some Cubans, and one woman from Spain also, and a guy from down under, from Australia, who did a class at the law school. So we encourage professors from abroad to come and to give us a day, a week, the amount of time necessary to do a lecture, to offer our students what perhaps something different and other than what we can provide them with our Haitian professors. So that's one of the connections that we've been able to make with a lot of universities in the state, to send professionals to come and teach. Now, language is not a barrier. It's just another issue and another learning opportunity. So we have translators who are able to translate. We've found folks who are completely fluent in French, and it's just a wonderful, nice surprise to find that amongst some American professionals. And so we can make it work. The importance is coming to share the knowledge. And we have, apart from this space, which is the campus space, where we have the school buildings, just down about half a kilometer down the road, there is a residential space. And so we have residences dedicated for our visiting professors. So we can provide housing. Students reside on campus. This year we have about 80 students who are living on campus, a lot of them from the provinces. After last year's, in 2017, the devastating floods in the South, there were a lot of students who came in that January, and we offered free housing for them. And so we have a fair number. It's not quite yet the number that we want because we have the capacity for more, but we don't have the funds yet to renovate and to repair all of the building. Because remember, in 11, when the military took over the space, they left it in quite a state. And then after the earthquake, in 2010, which devastated most of the surrounding area. This area of the country was not badly hit, and the campus did not suffer damage. So there are a lot of people who came and were residing in the houses after the earthquake. Luckily, we were able to, help them transition to other housing, and so we've recouped all of that space. But there's a lot that still needs to be repaired before we could really accommodate the number of students that we could accommodate.
And that's certainly something people in the United States could assist with. We know this is a very busy day for you. We've stolen some of your time. We don't want to keep you much longer on that. But two very quick things. Would you be willing to come to the United States and go to some of the campuses and talk about the work that you're doing here?
Sure. I've done a little bit of that. There's a lot that keeps us here. I have to spend a lot of the time here. But absolutely.
Right.
California, I had a wonderful, that's been already 5 years, but it's borne a lot of fruit.
We would love for you to come. So UCLA and University of Pennsylvania and others, watch out. Just finally, what distinguishes...
That's my alma mater. I went to law school.
Well, there you go.
And I still have some folks that I keep in touch with.
Oh, very good. That's very good news. Just finally, what distinguishes the work that you all do here at UNIFA from other universities that are based here?
I took note. All of the student presentations, the representatives from the different faculties were very well said. But the law student said something that struck me. As she encouraged her students her colleagues her colleagues to go forward and really to do the work of as lawyers. And one of the things she said is cultivate dignity. And I thought that was so beautiful, because if you go to the auditorium there's a huge sign with a sentence on it. And in Creole, it says, Sin pas sauve dinten, dinten ab sauve kitim. And if I can translate, if you do not safeguard your dignity will leave you. And that is our motto, in the sense that we impress upon students to be in this space, which is dignified, of an institution of higher learning. Our teachers deal with the students in a dignified way, and we want them to assume this dignity, to express it among themselves, with the staff, with their professors, and in their professions. And so that, I think, is what makes us different. I hope that it does, that other schools are doing it also. We have taken a very affirmative and really we emphasize the necessity for dignity, because dignity means that you should not be able to eat. You should not be living in subhuman conditions. And it's what we aspire to instill in our students, and that, we think, is the kernel of change for the country.
Well, on that note, thank you so very much for spending this time with us.
Thank
Mildred
you.
Aristide, thank you.
Okay, thank you.